Alright, hello everybody, welcome to today's stream. I see everybody joining. Thank you very much for tuning in with us this fine Friday afternoon. It is currently 12:04 here, and we're going to be talking about episode 21 of Ninjago, entitled The Day Ninjago Stood Still. Yeah, just to answer the question in terms of why I do these, we're doing this because I want to review every episode of the series, so I'm basically reviewing every episode that I haven't reviewed yet. So, yeah, hello everybody. Thank you very much for joining. How was the day yesterday? Pretty good. We streamed episode 20, and then I kind of did some work and then fell asleep. So, pretty good day yesterday. But let's go ahead and get right into the streaming information. If those of you guys are joining us here for the first time, we are going to be talking about obviously an episode review, but the streams themselves, we stream Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time, with an episode review and a Q&A, and obviously we'll update this day by day. If there's ever a day where I can't stream, I'll let you guys know. In terms of what the drink is today, we just got a bottle of water today. Just going kind of simple today. Nothing too crazy. Just feeling kind of mellow. So we're going to be drinking some water. So yeah, we're going to be talking about this episode. I'll run down the plot, then we'll jump into the good and the bad, and then I'll give the episode a score out of 10. So yeah, obviously since today is Friday, this is going to be the last stream of the week, but we will go ahead and pick up on Monday with episode 22. Darth J. Flem with the $2 donation. Thank you very much. Playing Attack on Titan 2 while listening. Awesome. It's really cool to see people multitasking in the chat. A couple people are in class, and a couple people are playing Attack on Titan 2. Excellent. So thank you very much for the donation, and thank you guys very much for tuning in today. We're going to be jumping right into this episode review. We will let the slideshow run in the background as we run down the good stuff about this episode. In terms of how my Thanksgiving was, it was alright. I didn't really celebrate a whole lot. I didn't really do anything. Just kind of worked and then fell asleep. So hopefully you guys had a better Thanksgiving than I did. It wasn't the best day ever. But regardless, let's go ahead and jump into this episode. So I got my notes here. Let's begin. So the episode the episode begins with Scales now being crowned the Snake King after they got rid of Garmadon in the last episode. This one finally crowns Scales the Snake King, and his first order of business as king is to go to Ninjago City and bury it, because, the humans, we gotta get revenge on the humans, man. We need to bury them. But yeah, if you guys had a general question, it might be a good idea to save that until the end of the episode review when we jump into Q&A. If you guys had an episode question or a statement related to this episode at hand, feel free to go ahead and list it in the chat as we run through this. But in terms of a general question, maybe save that until the end. So yeah. So then we cut to the ninja training, which is actually the first time that an episode doesn't really open with the ninja training. But regardless, here right at the beginning we have the ninja training Lloyd, and he's getting significantly better. And Wu and Misako are actually discussing the final battle, and they're kind of catching up a little bit, doing Wu and Misako stuff. But then they eventually do get on topic of the drama with Garmadon, the whole family drama, and Misako says that she should have chose Wu. And that's basically where the weirdness begins. Not too keen on their relationship. I'll actually be doing a video later on talking about the weirdness of that relationship. But regardless, that begins here. Misako mentions how she should have chosen Wu, and eventually a strong earthquake happens and it interrupts it. So good stuff. So the earthquake pretty much interrupts everything, and it turns out that the earthquake is caused by the serpentine tunneling under the city. They're trying to bury the city, of course. The ninja pick up on this, and they actually find a large door with a strange symbol on it, and it's actually blocking their path. So that's pretty much where the Serpentine are at. But anyway, then we cut to the Dark Island with the Overlord and Garmadon. The Overlord is making Garmadon climb up this random mountain, because allegedly on top of the mountain there lies the Overlord's greatest weapon. So good stuff there. The Overlord is again trying to manipulate Garmadon, but we of course don't know that at this point, or at least Garmadon doesn't know that. In terms of if anyone's ever experienced an earthquake, I mean, yeah, I've been in a couple earthquakes. In California, I was in an earthquake. When I was there, I was in 2 earthquakes. The first time I didn't feel it. The second time I was actually at a concert. It's kind of scary stuff. So I understand why people are freaking out in this instance with the earthquakes and such. So anyway, the ninja basically are focusing on rescuing civilians that may be trapped due to the earthquakes. Misako whips out the prophecy, and she says that the earthquake is like a warning as to what's to come. So yeah. But yeah, no, earthquakes are scary. I hope no one ever has been in a serious earthquake. but earthquakes aren't all that great. So I can understand why everyone's kind of scared here. It's very relatable in that way. But yeah, the earthquakes are allegedly a warning of what's to come. The ninja immediately jumped to the conclusion that it's more stone warriors, like what they fought yesterday. So yeah, if that's the case, that wouldn't really be great. We also know that this episode takes place a day after the episode yesterday, so that's fun. Yesterday in terms of real life, and yesterday in terms of the episode review. So pretty interesting things there. Meanwhile, to try to cover up, wait, what am I reading? Sometimes I can't read my own writing. Okay, so down below in the tunnel, Scales presses on the door. It opens to reveal a large amount of stone warriors. Very good stuff. An entire army of just deactivated stone warriors. The Serpentine kind of exploring, kind of knock on them a little bit, try to make them activate, but eventually all the venom from the Great Devourer does cause them to activate, and suddenly we have a Serpentine versus stone army battle. Pretty good stuff. They come to life and the snakes try to find a way to fight them, but obviously they fail because they're stone warriors, and the stone warriors kind of escape, but the Serpentine are kind of sealed away down below in the tombs, pretty much trapped again, and we won't see them again until the next season. So they're pretty much done with this season, and the stone warriors are pretty much on the loose. They break up into the actual streets and attack Ninjago City. The ninja find them and try to fight them, but of course they are stone warriors. They don't really have the capabilities to fight them at this current point in time. So the Serpentine are gone, and the stone warriors are pretty much easily overwhelming everybody up front. Pretty interesting shift in power dynamic here. Just within a few seconds, suddenly the Serpentine are nothing, and the stone armor, or the stone warriors rather, are basically trying to invade Ninjago right off the bat. So pretty interesting power shift there. But anyway, the ninja pretty much aren't really used to fighting these guys, so they try to evacuate citizens and focus on that. They're basically holding a plot to evacuate everybody on top of the news building with the Destiny's Bounty, so that's exactly what they go about doing. On the Dark Island, Garmadon finally reaches the top of the mountain and finds the Helmet of Shadows, the helmet that will control the Stone Army. And of course, once he removes it, it would start the countdown clock, which he actually does find on top of the mountain as well. Of course, Garmadon takes the helmet, the countdown clock begins, therefore actually signifying the official start of the final battle. So Garmadon pretty much has no hesitation there. He immediately picks up the helmet, and now he is in control of the Overlord's army. The ninja are pretty much trying to hold off the Stone Army in Ninjago City while the citizens try to escape, but of course during all the commotion, Misako ends up dropping her scroll. So Misako, all of her research just kind of fell, so she obviously goes back to grab it because there's no way she's going on without that. Of course, Wu sees her go after it and goes after her, so Master Wu and Misako are trying to get the prophecy information back from the Stone Army while also trying to hurry back in time for the evacuation. Wu helps her. They pretty much battle the Stone Army together, and they also do spinjitzu, which is pretty fun. But then they're quickly overwhelmed, obviously, because the Stone Warriors are pretty much unstoppable, and they decide to jump out the window. Yeah, they just decide, you know what, we're done. Let's just yeet out the window, and now we're finally gonna die. But of course, they are picked up by the Destiny's Bounty, which is kind of an interesting thing to think about. They'd rather jump out the window than die at the hands of the Stone Army. It's kind of an interesting thing, but that's what they tried to do, so I guess. But they do get picked up by the bounty, and they all escape together. Pretty good thing there, because then Wu and Misako probably would have died. I mean, that's pretty much what happens when you jump out of tall buildings. But then back on the Dark Island, Garmadon officially wears the helmet, officially signifying that he's back and that the final battle has now begun. So good stuff. The plot of this episode is kind of basic. There's not a whole lot going on. It's just, Stone Army attacks and the ninja try to escape. It's all right, but there are some good things and some bad things that I do need to talk about there. So let's go ahead and get into it. First of all, the Stone Army is great, in my opinion. They are great opponents at the moment. Right now, the ninja are kind of overwhelmed by them, which I feel like is very good. It's always a good thing when the heroes are overwhelmed and they need to, rise up from that. Pretty much an underdog tale, so I really enjoyed that. The Stone Army is going to be an excellent opponent going forward, and I can't wait to see more of what they do. Meanwhile, on the Dark Island, Garmadon, the Overlord, and the countdown clock, all that stuff is very good as well. The countdown clock always kind of used to creep me out as a kid watching these episodes. The countdown clock to the final battle was always like the scariest thing for me. I don't know why, it just kind of was. Maybe it's because it's counting down to the actual final battle and the actual doom of Ninjago, if you will. So I always thought that was kind of scary. But the countdown clock now, when I look at it, it's actually kind of cool. I really like that design. Kind of reminds me of something kind of steampunk-esque, if you will, so I'm really excited about the countdown clock. We're going to see more of it in future episodes. Meanwhile, this episode also marked the end of the Serpentine, so also pretty cool stuff there. The Serpentine weren't my favorite villains out there, but now they're finally sealed away, and we won't see them again until the next season. So in terms of how they were done away with, I feel like that was a very solid reasoning for getting rid of the snakes. I feel like that was the only best thing that they could have done without, actually killing all the snakes. But as we find out in the next season, the snakes pretty much turn good, so that's not that big of a deal there. The Serpentine are pretty much fine, but I really enjoyed how their arc concluded. Meanwhile, the ninja being ninjas pretty good. They're rescuing citizens throughout the majority of this episode, and their episode, I guess, focus this go round is just simply helping people, which in my opinion is pretty good. They can't really fight the Stone Army, so instead what they choose to do is pretty much rescue them, which is good for the ninja. It makes them out to be heroes, and it shows that there's more to being a hero than just fighting, and I really enjoyed that. Meanwhile, the whole Masako moments in this episode are pretty good as well. Masako plays a very big role in this episode too, and her interactions with Wu are interesting, to say the least. We'll get more into that in a little bit here. But mainly Wu and Misako, in terms of good stuff with them, they're pretty good partners overall. They're very much, I guess, a team. They're very good friends, and they know each other well enough to formulate a very strong fighting force against the Stone Army. Granted, it wasn't enough to defeat the Stone Army, and they kind of jumped out the window, but, for the most part, they were doing pretty good. They were doing Spinjitzu, which I thought was really cool, too. Misako using Spinjitzu was pretty cool to see. Was not expecting that. I remember not expecting that as a child and being surprised with it then, and having forgot about it, and being surprised with it in this episode. Pretty good stuff. It was a nice little treat to see Misako use Spinjitzu. Big props to her. She actually has a very good role in this episode. In terms of bad stuff, let's go ahead and jump right back to Wu and Misako. The whole romantic dynamic thing, it's very weird. It's just very strange. I'll do a video on it later on, but in terms of how weird it is, just imagine it like this, okay? Imagine that you're Garmadon, and your wife is being, I guess, flirted with by your brother. It's just not good stuff. It's very strange. I don't like that. I never liked it growing up. I always thought it was the weirdest thing. I kind of compare it to the same type of principle as in Captain America's Civil War. When Captain America's old World War II girlfriend dies and he immediately goes after her niece at her funeral. That's kind of the same energy there. It's just weird, and it just seems inappropriate. Even though Garmadon and Misako aren't like together at this current point in time, it's still weird, man. That's still your brother's wife, man. It's like, dude, you had your chance with her, and yeah, it might not have been Wu's fault that Misako was kind of stolen away from him. That was basically Garmadon's fault, and technically Wu should have ended up with Misako, but they're still married, and it's quite strange, and it's not really something that I appreciated. Even watching it nowadays, I thought that rewatching it at an older age might make it less weird. No, if anything, it just made it more weird. So that's pretty much the only major bad thing I have to say about this episode, is that this episode is the whole introduction to that aspect of Wu and Masako's dynamic, and it's just kind of strange. In terms of other bad things, I can't really say a whole lot. This episode is kind of, I guess, one note, if that makes sense. It's basically the Stone Army attack and the ninja run away. That's basically the entirety of the episode, and some people might see that as disappointing, but regardless, I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. The main thing that kind of scared me in this episode was the Masako and Wu dynamic. Who's to say that Masako wouldn't have chosen Garmadon anyway? Yeah, very well could be. The main thing that turned Masako over to Garmadon, though, was the love letter that Wu had written. Of course, Garmadon intercepted and kind of made it seem like he wrote it due to Master Chen, so I don't know. I don't really know how that would have went. Maybe Misako would have chosen Garmadon in general, but then if that's the case, it just makes this even more creepy because, Misako is going after Wu as well. Kind of weird stuff there. But enough about that. That's pretty much the only negative thing I have to say about this episode. This episode was pretty good overall. The only thing I'm taking out points for was kind of like the one-note plot and the whole Misako and Wu thing being a lot more weird nowadays than what it was back in the day. Even back then, when I was 12 years old watching this, I thought it was weird, but, I don't know, it's all right. In terms of a score, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9 out of 10. It was a pretty good episode, all things considered. It was just that one thing that I thought was really strange. But let me know down below in the chat, or off to the side, rather. It's not down below yet. Off to the side, what you would rate this episode. I'm going to take a sip of my water. My mouth was really dry. Sorry about that. Let's see what you guys got for scores. 7, 9, 8, 7, 9. Oh, a waffle out of 10. Yeah, that's about right. Pretty high scores overall. Yeah, this episode's not terrible. Again, continuing with the ultra epic final battle arc, it was all right. It was a good continuation. Dareth or Wu and Misako. I'd rather have Wu and Misako. I'd rather look at that over have to interact with Dareth. But yeah, pretty high scores overall. This episode's not bad. It's certainly not terrible. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, rather on Monday, because today's Friday, we're going to be talking about the last voyage, which is going to be the whatchamacallit, it's going to be the next episode that we talk about. First episode of next week. I think that's the next one, right? Episode 22, the last voyage. Almost pretty positive. But yeah, in terms of the episode review, that's going to do it for my thoughts on this episode. Kind of strange, but okay overall. In terms of what we're doing now, we still got a lot of time left in the stream, so we can just jump over into Q&A now. For Q&A, ask me pretty much anything, unless it makes me uncomfortable, in which case I'll probably ignore it. But let's go ahead and just get into it here. We're just going to have a pretty casual stream for the next 40 minutes. I can finally sit back, put my notes away, and sip water and answer questions from y'all. So let's see what you guys got for me today. In terms of the rest of the day, it should be pretty easy today, all things considered. I don't have a lot of videos to do, so I'm kind of looking forward to just getting a few videos done and then relaxing the rest of the day. Who do I think they could give in the wind element to? In terms of an established character, maybe they could give it to Nelson if he wanted to be a ninja. I could definitely see Lil Nelson, the purple ninja, being the new master of wind. Otherwise, I have a feeling it might just be passed to someone random in Ninjago, and we probably won't know who it is. But if I were to give it to anyone, I'd probably give it to Nelson. What if Wu had a son? That'd be interesting. Master Wu never had kids, unfortunately, so we don't we don't really know what that would be like. Favorite ninja? Gotta go with Cole. He's the best. Who do I think has the saddest origin story? Also probably Cole. Either Cole or Zane. Both of their origins are pretty messed up. I mean, even Kai's to an extent, Kai and Nia's origin, and even Jay's. Technically, all of the ninja have really tragic backstories. um, but I would say Zane's or Cole's. I think their backstory is probably their backstories are probably the most emotional. But yeah, when you think about it, all of the ninja kind of had a tragic backstory. I mean, Zane watched his dad die in front of him. Cole watched his mom die and watched his dad kind of not really care. Kai and Nia's parents were kidnapped, and Jay was kind of abandoned by his parents, and Lloyd was abandoned by his mom. So, yeah, everyone's kind of had a tragic backstory in Ninjago. So, yeah, I suppose that's how you make a good hero, though, right? What do you think of the redeemed Unagami? I feel like he's fine. Unagami's redemption is something that I kind of expected, but I think with Unagami, I don't really know if that makes him a good villain then, because he was kind of turned pretty easily. If anything, he was just kind of a child of sorts having a tantrum, like a digital robotic child having a digital robotic tantrum. I don't know. His turn to the good side was understandable. I don't think that makes him a very good villain though, but it's all right. Yeah, the best heroes are often the tragic heroes. Yeah, it's very true. Very true statement. Yeah, Cole had a long time with his mother, but he kind of also watched his family fall apart as soon as his mom died. So, like, his dad kind of went off on his own thing, and, it's kind of interesting. But, I don't know. Cole's backstory is still kind of sad, I'd say, because his whole family just kind of fell apart afterwards, and Cole didn't deserve that, you know? Um, how many seasons are dedicated to Kai? Well, okay, you kind of have the pilot, which I guess is kind of a Kai focused thing. Then you kind of have season 4, which is technically a Kai season. Then season 7 is a Kai and Nia story, so you could technically say that that's Kai's. And then season 11, Fire Chapter, is Kai's. So around 4 different seasons right now. Um, and then I feel like he might have the most alongside Lloyd in terms of focus seasons. But of course, the focus seasons, I guess, or each ninja is kind of a subjective thing. You can kind of say that anyone was the focus of season 4, for example. It doesn't have to be Kai. I just say it's Kai because Kai was the one on the box. So that's pretty much what I go off of. The ninja on the box is probably going to be the ninja that is the mascot. Yeah, season 1 could also be a Kai season. I kind of see that as more of a Lloyd season, though. The Green Ninja. I don't know. Seasons 1 and 2, I kind of say are Lloyd seasons. Um, they don't really have an exact focus in my opinion, but if I had to pick someone, I'd probably say it was Lloyd. Um, how was my Thanksgiving? It was alright. I didn't really do a whole lot of anything. Who are Dareth's parents? Probably people that haven't really raised a kid before. Dareth didn't really turn out all that great. Inugami wasn't a real villain. He was alright. Um, I don't know. I just felt like he was scary when he needed to be, but his whole redemption thing was kind of predictable, and it kind of, I guess, made him less significant of a villain, at least to me. In terms of if I think he's going to return, probably not. If he's going to return, he's going to be an ally. Maybe if they need to find Milton Dyer again or something, Unogami will be there. But I don't think he's going to return at all, honestly. I feel like his story's kind of done. Um, Dareth or Clutch Powers? I'm going to go with Clutch Powers. I'd rather hang out with Clutch Powers than Dareth. If I had to pick one of them to, like, have a lunch with or something, I would pick Clutch Powers. Because I feel like at least Clutch Powers would be kind of funny. As much as he's annoying in the show, I feel like he'd at least be funny, and I can always make fun of his eye patch and whatnot. So, he's fine. I'd rather hang out with him. Yeah, Dareth isn't all that great. Um, Opinion on Cole and Vanya's relationship. I don't know. They're all right. They could grow up and develop more later on, but as of right now, they're just kind of good friends. I get the sense that they feel a certain way towards each other, but I think it's okay. I don't think it's anything too terribly bad. Yeah, Dareth is annoying. It kind of sucks because in season 2, Dareth has a very big presence. In fact, he's pretty much in a lot of these seasons going forward, and it's kind of one of the worst things about Ninjago, in my opinion. The character of Dareth, you could just completely remove him, and the series would be 10 times better. Um, what if Pixel had her own season? I feel like she could, but I don't know if she would, just because she's not like, she's not a ninja, but she's still part of the team, if that makes sense. What's wrong with Dareth? He's overly obnoxious for no reason. He just kind of hangs around when he doesn't need to be. He's kind of like a parasite. He kind of just leeches off the ninja and really doesn't do a whole lot. He thinks he's all that when he's not. He tries to be more than what he is, and he just kind of gets involved when he doesn't need to. So basically, he is just there for the sake of being there. I guess he's supposed to be comic relief, yeah, but there's a way to make a comic relief character and not have him be a Dareth. Will Daily get me demonetized? I don't think someone can get you demonetized. I mean, that's just not how that works. Yeah, Dareth doesn't know a whole lot of anything. Do I prefer Cake or Vanya? In terms of which one I'd rather have right now, I'd honestly rather have Cake, man. Cake sounds pretty good right about now. I was doing like an Instagram Q&A, and someone asked me if I liked cake. It's like, yeah, I love cake. Kind of sounds really bomb right about now. Unfortunately, I have none, so I might need to go out and get some later. Yeah, lava cake sounds good. My favorite kind of cake is like a deep chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. I really like chocolate. If you want to get me a simple gift, get me something chocolate. But, you know, cake sounds good. I relate to Cole in that way. Cole's kind of my spirit animal in the sense that we both enjoy cake. I remember when Cole's cake obsession started, and it was like the strangest thing, but it's kind of turned into a staple of the character, so I feel like that's something very important for Cole. Am I excited for Christmas? Yeah, Christmas is my favorite holiday. Just kind of had to get through Thanksgiving first, and now I can put up all the Christmas decorations and stuff. But it's kind of weird because it's like it doesn't really feel like Christmas yet. At least to me, I don't really get that Christmas vibe, unfortunately, like I usually do this time of year. So I'm not sure what's going on with me, but something's up where I don't really have the Christmas spirit. We hung up stockings in the hallway, though. We got stockings for all the little kitties, and we've been putting cat treats in there pretty much every day. So I guess that's kind of fun. But I really like Christmas overall. I'm excited for it this year. So I'm excited. Would I get a P.O. box? Eventually, if I had like, I don't know, because P.O. boxes are kind of expensive, and I'm not really sure if a lot of people would send in mail if I were to open up one. I would love to do a mail show, but I'm not sure if it would be, worth it. But I might do that eventually. I want to see the cat stockings. I can post a picture on Instagram. I'll write that down for later. I'll put it up on Instagram so you guys can see that. Just make a quick note of it. Yeah, let's go ahead and switch up the seasons a little bit. Whatever this one is, we'll do that. Season 11, yeah, it's pretty good. It wasn't season 7 like I was going for, but we'll probably do that later. I really need to label these things because all I got right now are just episode pictures 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have them labeled per season, but I should really do that. Am I going to pick up any Lego sets for Christmas? Probably not this year. I decided to use this Christmas to kind of, well, in terms of like asking for stuff from my parents. I mean, my parents are still willing to grab me stuff, so that's good. So I basically gave them a list full of books and movies, so we'll see what happens. They asked me what I wanted. I gave them a list, and we'll see what happens with that. Maybe label them today. Yeah, it's probably going to be a good idea. I honestly really should, so I'll write that on the list too. It might make things a little bit more convenient, just so I'm not randomly guessing. I was supposed to do that yesterday, but I'm gonna be honest, I forgot. Lots of stuff going on yesterday. One thing I did do yesterday is purchase alcohol for the first time because I just turned 21, so that's one thing that I did. And obviously, you can see how I would forget things easily. So, for the sake of the stream and not being demonetized, we're gonna stop there. Will I start using a face cam? Maybe one day. A couple of people have been asking about that. Face cams are really easy to do on here. The only issue with that is like I don't really have an exact, I don't really have a good webcam. I'd have to get like a very decent one or hook up a camera. But I'll mess around with that at some point. Maybe one day for streams we'll do face cam. What did I get? I decided to get a bottle of Fireball. It's like cinnamon whiskey. It's pretty good. Um, so I'll answer that. But honestly, I don't know. These streams usually just get demonetized immediately anyway. I have to put in like an actual manual review for people to actually go over it. And I don't think anyone really goes over it, so we should be fine. We'll see what happens. And if one stream gets demonetized, it's not that big of a deal. How many Ninjago sets do I have? Um, I could look. A lot of them are in storage, and some of them I sold off. But I do want to go ahead and make like a list of um, like all the sets that I've purchased at one point in time and make that into a video, like my entire Ninjago set collection. That'd be an interesting idea for a video. I could probably use brick set for that, but I don't know. On me right now, I only have a couple. I have the movie bounties, some of the actual movie mechs. So a lot of them are still in storage at my parents' house because in my apartment, there's not a lot of room to put up like a big Ninjago display as much as I would like that. So unfortunately, that's just a sad truth there. But I will be doing a video eventually on the collection. I don't do bad things like drinking. I only drink casually. It's not like I'm an alcoholic or anything like that, so you guys don't need to worry about that. I had just turned 21 a couple days ago, so I figured I would make my first purchase. So, uh, my friends were pretty proud of me. What's my favorite set? I really like the movie Destiny's Bounty. That's still my favorite set. There hasn't really been something that's come out to top it. In terms of what's going to be happening with future Ninjago sets, maybe the Ninjago City Gardens could top it. I'm not so sure what that set's going to be about yet, but we do have, a confirmation that the movie Bounty is my favorite, so that's what we're going with. Am I happy that Cole's season 14 suit has sleeves? Yeah, I feel like overall, like sleeves are important for Cole. I really don't like the sleeveless look for Cole. I'm just gonna be honest. The sleeveless look for Cole works sometimes, but then he started using it all the time, and it's just not all that great to me. Um, just overall, I don't know. I kind of prefer sleeves on Cole, so I'm glad that they're returning. Tanner's man bun. Yeah, my hair is long enough at this point where I could probably do that. Honestly, I could probably recreate the Cole hairstyle with like a headband or like a wrap of some sorts. I could probably do up a man bun, if we're being honest. My hair is kind of long enough at this point. When was my birthday? My birthday was on the 23rd of November. So a few days ago. Some years it lands on Thanksgiving, which is kind of annoying. Thankfully this year it wasn't, it was on Monday. So yeah, I've been 21 for a minute now, but being 21's all right. Have I memorized the Ninjago language? Only a few symbols. It's kind of easy to memorize some symbols and kind of line it up with what letters they correspond with. But I don't know, just overall, they're okay. The English language, or not the English language, sorry, the Ninjago language is quite easy to memorize, and eventually I probably will. I haven't studied it, of course, but just watching the show and doing research for videos and stuff, you learn a little bit. A lot of the actual ninja minifigures as well use symbols from the language, so it's kind of easy to recognize certain symbols here and there. So, it's easy enough to try to learn. So, um, Yeah, exactly. I feel like the legacy suit was a very good suit for Cole. I didn't mind the sleeves. I was actually quite happy that they returned, but I do admit that it did kind of look a little jarring because Cole had been sleeveless for so long. But I feel like I really liked the legacy version of Cole. That's probably one of my favorite Cole figures. In terms of his season 14 suit, I'm happy that they're returning with the sleeves. Really excited. Will I make more Ninjago tributes? Yeah, I would like to. The only issue is I don't really have a whole lot of time. I'm working on videos most of the time, and I'm trying to run errands and such, and sleeping. Unfortunately, sleep kind of. If I didn't have to sleep, I would have a lot more time. But unfortunately, the human body doesn't really work like that. But I'd like to. I just need to make more time for it. I have ideas for tributes. I just need to, squeeze in time. And I've also been working on my screenplay as well for the Ninjago finale. Like my idea as to what a Ninjago finale would be like. I want to release that sometime um, in the next year, but there is a little bit of a delay on that because of certain plot points that might need to be changed now in light of recent news. So I don't know. But yeah, I have ideas for tributes and ideas for stuff, but I've just kind of been working on a little too much. My life is currently consisting of Jeopardy and Ninjago. It's not a bad thing. I mean, my life basically consists of Ninjago and sleeping, so certainly could be worse. You don't need sleep when you have Red Bull. I tried a Red Bull once and it kind of tasted weird. I haven't had a Red Bull. I've only had a Red Bull once in my life, and it tasted very strange. Is this my full-time job? Yep, at the moment YouTube is my full-time job. YouTube's been treating me pretty good lately, so I've had no problems using YouTube as a full-time job. Um, but just in general, I might try to find some other place to work later on, but as of right now, this is what I'm doing. So basically most of my time goes into this. Do I watch Mr. Beast? No, not really. He's a kind of a cool guy though, but you know, it's not my it's not my favorite channel. I don't watch him all that much. Do I think Lloyd could have another girlfriend? Maybe later down the line. I feel like he's still trying to get over Harumi. Like we've seen in every single season since Harumi died that he's just not over her yet, which is kind of weird. But maybe one day he'll get over her, and maybe he can actually move on and find another girlfriend. You know, maybe Akita could be worked into the story somehow. I'd ship Lloyd and Akita. So maybe Akita could make things work with Lloyd. Lloyd's been paying visits to the Never Realm. Asphira or the Omega. The Omega is the better villain. Asphira is kind of obnoxious, but the Omega I think is kind of cool. He's kind of underutilized, but I feel like he's a really cool concept that just wasn't used in the best way. But maybe if they went back and did something different with him, he could be a little better. He has a lot of potential. Am I going to make a sequel to the Lloyd alarm clock? Maybe one day. I just kind of wanted to make that video as like a Halloween video. Maybe next year for Halloween we'll do like the return of the haunted Lloyd alarm clock that supposedly killed me, but obviously I'm still alive. So any negative thoughts on the Overlord Dragon set? No, I feel like that set's pretty good. I recently did a video, I think last night it came out, talking about the actual public reception towards the Overlord Dragon. Sometimes I see people, I guess, kind of, talking smack about it, but for the most part, it's been pretty positive, I'd say. I certainly don't have a lot of negative thoughts about it. I do think that when I get it, I will customize it. That's just kind of inevitable. But for the most part, I feel like it's pretty good. It's a good basis, if you will, for the Overlord Dragon. It's a pretty good thing, and I'm glad that we're finally getting a set for it. So that's something. Um, what do I think is the idea of season 14? Presumably, all we know so far about season 14 is that it'll basically be about the ninja stranded on some type of jungle island and something related to that. We don't really have an exact full-on plot yet, so yeah, I don't really know how someone would create like an exact replica though of the season 2 Overlord Dragon. I mean, in my opinion, they were trying to get it pretty evenly in scale with the Legacy Golden Dragon that they recently released last year. And I feel like that works. I feel like that's a pretty good scale. I can understand why some people would be upset about the Overlord Dragon being a little small, but I don't know, for the most part, I feel like it works. I'm just glad that we're getting an Overlord Dragon set in general. I love anime and Ninjago. Yeah, pretty much me too. Some people, some people don't like anime, and that's very abundantly clear in this community. But you know what? It's all right. We all got our own opinions, and as long as no one attacks anyone for their opinions, we're good. So you can like whatever you want, just as long as it doesn't hurt people. That's pretty much my stance on things. You can have whatever hobby you want, I don't care as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. Have I seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? I have not. I've seen the first couple of episodes for it, but I really want to continue it. It's just, again, like with the time restrictions and stuff like that. But hopefully today I'll have some time to actually lay back and watch something. That's basically my plan for today, is do the stream, get a couple of videos done, and then, relax the rest of the day. Because usually on weekends I get a chance to sit back and kind of not work on stuff all that much. Still work on stuff a little bit, but, you know, I'm excited to relax. Don't watch the movie. Yeah, I wasn't going to. The movie Avatar. No, I haven't seen that. I don't really want to see that. So it doesn't really seem like that great of a thing. What if Jareth showed up at my place? I would immediately phone the police, and he would be taken away, and I would not feel bad about it. It's like Dareth had his chance to not show up, and he did anyway. So now he's going to jail. Which anime series do I like? I like all kinds of stuff for anime. My favorites are Clannad and Toradora, both of which are very sad. Otherwise, I like something, like New Game. I really enjoy. It's like a anime about people that develop video games. I really like the Love Live series, which is just like, school idols and musicals and stuff like that. And I really enjoy stuff like My Hero Academia. So, shonen anime. I basically like everything across the board. There's not like, well, there are animes that I hate, but there's not like a genre that I don't like. I can find something good in every single genre. So I don't like anime, please don't judge me, and that's fine. As I stated, everyone has their own opinions, and we can always, just shake hands and move on. We don't have to fight. Cole's dirt bike or earth driller? The earth driller is a better vehicle for Cole, in my opinion. Do I like Jay? Yeah, he's okay. Jay was my favorite ninja at one point in time, but that's kind of sailed at this point. That's kind of not around anymore. But he's still a good character. I don't hate Jay. I don't really hate any of the ninja. My least favorite is Nia, but even Nia I don't really hate. She's just not my favorite, and that's okay. What if Dareth's stalking you right now? I wouldn't be surprised if he was. How do anime fans and non-anime fans fight? Well, traditionally, from what I've seen on Twitter, there's been a lot of hate towards like just anime and anime fans in general, because a lot of people really just hate anime for some reason, like with a burning passion, which I don't get why. But basically, going on anime posts and just saying, oh, anime is trash or whatever. And then of course a lot of anime fans are kind of, easy to aggravate. So it's very clear how a fight could be created there, especially on Twitter, where there's aggression every day, there's negativity every day, people are getting canceled every minute of every day. Twitter is not a fun website. I've kind of been using Twitter less and less. Obviously, I kind of prefer Instagram. I feel like Instagram's the better website overall. And while Instagram also has its issues, Twitter isn't all that great. Just overall, like literally, someone was trying to get someone else canceled over Animal Crossing like the other day. So, that's pretty much the gist of it there. Twitter's just basically a war zone. Twitter is kind of like GTA Online. You go into it and everyone's killing each other, and it's just chaos. You got someone in the chat playing music super loud. It's just chaos overall. Least favorite villain in Ninjago. In terms of a least favorite villain, probably honestly, Esphira's not all that great. Unagami's kind of average. The Iron Baron's probably my least favorite, though. He's not very good, in my opinion. The Iron Baron really isn't all that great. So, but yeah, probably those three. Um, let's see what else we got. Do I think they should bring back the dragons in Cyclondo? Yeah, I feel like they should. I feel like they were taken out of the series for no reason, but having them around didn't hurt, and having them, I guess, not in the show also doesn't hurt, because it still makes for a good show. It's just like always in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, maybe Urjitsu would work really well in this situation. The elemental dragons would be really useful right about now. There are certain situations in the most recent Ninjago seasons where they could have come in handy, and I feel like you know they could have been used there, but it also doesn't hurt to not have them in there. I feel like taking them out wasn't necessary, but it also doesn't hurt. Do you think we should do the hug thing? We could do the hug thing. We've been doing a tradition for a past couple of streams where everyone types hug in the chat and we all do a group hug, so we can do that here. I'll start it off with a hug. Everyone else can hug there. It's been a pretty fun tradition, if we're being honest. um, but yeah, just overall, it's a fun thing, helps keep the stream kind of mellow, and we're just hanging out, hugs all around. I also think it's kind of funny to see the chat just fill up with hug immediately. It's really funny. What's my favorite season from? Wait, what's my favorite season with the new designs? Sons of Garmadon, the first one that they started out with the new designs. That one's my favorite. Yes, hugs all around. No, of course not. We're all just hugging, hugs and high fives. See, what we were going to get demonetized for earlier, we're now remonetized again for this nice, wholesome hug moment. So thank you all very much for that. You've saved me from demonetization. Imagine season 13 Legacy. Yeah, if Legacy keeps going at the rate that they're going with right now, we might be getting that pretty much sooner than we think. Are we friends? Yes, everyone in this chat is my friend. And I'm being serious about that. We're all friends, we're all hanging out. It's a nice casual environment, No one really needs no one needs any negativity here. We're all just hanging out. What's my favorite dessert? Gotta go with cake, man. As I said earlier, cake's like one of my favorite things, especially chocolate cake. Makes me hungry. Might need to go get some cake later. What's my favorite vehicle and mech? Um, well, in terms of my favorite mech, because mechs are kind of vehicles, but in terms of my favorite mech, I really like some of the mechs from the movie, like the Green Ninja Mech Dragon, the Kai mech from the movie, the Quake mech from the movie. In terms of an actual vehicle, though, probably either the Thunder Raider or the Kai Fighter, just off the top of my head, because those two are both very good vehicles. Also, the Earth Driller is pretty cool too, but mechs are kind of vehicles, I guess. So. Do you like the suits from Sons of Garmadon or the suits from Season 11 better? Sons of Garmadon suits I feel like look really good together. They're probably the best looking suits, all things considered. But in terms of the Season 11 suits, they're okay too. They also look really good together, and I also don't really hate them. They also look very good. Hamburgers or hot dogs? Gotta go with hamburgers. I'm a big fan of burgers as well. That also sounds really good, man. Imagine like eating like just a big burger and then just like having cake after it. I don't see what I might need to do that today. Make a note of that because that sounds really good. Um, Superman X Wonder Woman thought. I don't know about that. I'm not invested in a lot of DC heroes and stuff like that. I know Batman stuff, but I'm not really familiar with Superman or Wonder Woman or all that kind of stuff. Um, yeah. Besides the season 3 finale, what's the saddest episode of Ninjago? Probably TikTok, if we're being honest. The episode that introduces Zane's origin. That episode made me cry a lot. That episode actually made my mom kind of upset because of how sad I was. I remember watching that episode and just kind of sobbing over it, and then my mom kind of got upset that a Lego show was making me super upset. So she wrote an angry letter to Lego talking about how it wasn't right to include death in a Lego show for kids. And then, mysteriously, Dr. Julian came back in the next season. So I don't want to say it was because of me that Dr. Julian came back, but you know, the timing seems a little too specific. But no, I'm just kidding. No, Lego responded, I think, with just a note or like an email saying that they're sorry for the experience. I mean, what else are they gonna do with that? Um, Lego gets an angry message from a mom about their kid crying over an Ninjago episode. I mean, what are they supposed to do in that situation? Are they supposed to rewind time and make the episode not exist anymore? They can't really do that, but Dr. Julian did come back randomly in season 2, so I don't know. Maybe that changed it. Who knows? But no, I thought it was a pretty fun experience, all things considered. But no, TikTok is a very sad episode. That's basically bottom line what I was trying to say. I got a lot of different stories about Ninjago. Obviously, I've been with Ninjago since day one, so every single season I could go into like a different story relating to my experience with that because they're all really fun. But yeah, then Dr. Julian died immediately again, so who knows? They kind of brought him back and then took him away. It's kind of weird when you think about it. How old am I? I'm 21. 2-1. You have chocolate cake? Oh man, that sounds good. Jealous. All I got here is a bottle of water. I'm jealous. No, I might need to get some actual food later. Um, haven't really been eating all that great past few days, for being honest. um, let's see what we got. What happened if Harumi came back in season 14? That'd be weird. I feel like the community would be kind of split. I personally don't think Harumi needs to come back, and I feel like they would bring him back, or they brought her back in the best way that they could in season 12. So they don't need to bring her back anymore. She's kind of done. But if she did come back, I know a certain amount of the fan base would be very happy, while others would be very upset. So, yeah. Who do I think is the richest person in Ninjago? Well, probably someone like Cyrus Borg. That guy's like loaded. He's basically like the Steve Jobs, if you will, of the Ninjago universe. But that's why I like him. He's a pretty cool character, all things considered. He's really fun, and just overall, I really don't have an issue with Cyrus Borg. He's one of my favorite characters. Sleep is overrated. I wish I could say that, man. But unfortunately, sleep is something that I kind of need. And it sucks, I know, but if I didn't need to sleep, I could get a lot of stuff done. Just kind of sucks. Do I want Ninjago to do a Charlie's Angels kind of season? They could do that. Maybe if they had like Cyrus Borg, a kind of fun like a team of female characters. That could be kind of cool. I feel like that was an idea for a spin-off at some point. They kind of had that in the back of their mind that maybe they could do that. You know, you could have Nia, you could have Skylar, you could have Pixel. That would honestly be a really good spin-off. If they could do that, that'd be awesome. Of course, they could make it, you know, kind of casual, that they don't need to force, you know, diversity into everything. But I feel like if they did it right, it would be a very good story, and I'd like to see something like that. So, how do I watch Ninjago season 11 to 13? Because on Netflix I only see seasons 1 to 10. Well, just might depend on the area that you're in. In terms of the United States, Ninjago is available up to season 13. The only thing that we don't have are the pilot episodes, but season 11 to 13 is also listed as a different series. So even if you don't see it on the actual Ninjago thing, if you live in the US and you don't see anything past season 10, it's listed as a different series. So you might just need to search Ninjago again. It's under a completely different category. It's kind of confusing, but you know, that's just Netflix's choice to do that. Very strange. Where can I watch it in Canada? I'm not so sure about that. I'm only familiar with like United States territory stuff, and I don't think I can help you there. Apologies for that. Favorite anime, Clannad or Toradora? Do I like the new Rattler reskin? I think he looks alright. I think it's cool that we're actually getting a snake that's not like a member of the Venomari. I feel like in Legacy they only pushed like Venomari members. Of course, Pythor was in there for a little bit, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember only seeing Venomari snakes in like the early waves of Legacy. So it's kind of cool to actually see a snake from a different tribe show up in Legacy. It's kind of cool. My favorite finale? Um, I really like the finale to, well, you know, to be honest, Hunted's finale is kind of good with the whole Garmadon and Wu versus, or Garmadon and Lloyd, or what am I trying to say? Wu and Garmadon, Wu and Lloyd versus Garmadon. Got it. That fight scene's kind of cool. Otherwise, in terms of other finales that I enjoy, I really like Rebooted's finale, Possession's finale. There hasn't really been a bad finale. Um, Show us Ninjago on YouTube. Lego, the official Lego channel, actually has some of the official episodes on there. Some of them are in English, some of them are not, but they are on there. So, do I want a Legacy Great Devourer? Yeah, I feel like the Great Devourer would be a pretty good set to include for Legacy. That could be pretty fun. And just overall, I feel like that should have happened a long time ago. Season 11's finale, it was alright. It was kind of predictable, and I kind of knew what was going to happen. It was kind of slow and kind of strange, but for the most part, I feel like it was a good finale, all things considered. It was alright, like a 5 out of 10 average finale. It wasn't the worst thing ever. At least they actually ended it, but you know, it was just kind of predictable. Do I think the ninja ever went to school? I'm not sure how the schooling system works in Ninjago, so I'm willing to say probably not, unless they've all graduated high school already and that's it. Not so sure about that. Would I like a legacy ninja copter? Yeah, I feel like that'd be pretty cool. There are vehicles that I feel like should be legacy themed. Like in yesterday's stream, I mentioned how they should make a legacy remake of the Tread Assault. The ninja copter would also be pretty good. So. Who's stronger, Stone Army or Anaconda? Probably the Stone Army. I feel like they would win in that scenario. Cole and Jay went to school. Fair enough. I know Cole was going to that dancing school for a little bit. Not so sure if that would count as like a high school or a college, though. The Ninjago schooling system, I'm not all that familiar with. It's kind of different than what we have here. A lot of things in Ninjago are different. Do I think Garmadon's Oni heritage affects the way his evil form looks? Yeah, I feel like absolutely. I feel like that kind of Oni blood in him was kind of activated and it kind of makes him look more like an Oni. That's why when the Oni were revealed and they looked similar to Garmadon, I was like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense because, it just kind of goes in with Garmadon's heritage. He is technically part Oni, so it would make sense that when that evil inside of him was activated, he would look Oni. It's like the same scenario with like Wu or Lloyd. If they were to like get bitten by the Devourer, for example, and struck by lightning and turn evil, they also would probably look like how Garmadon did, just because of their Oni heritage. It would be different for anyone that doesn't have Oni blood. If Misaka and Garmadon had brown hair, then why does Lloyd have blonde hair? I feel like that's just because the first Spinjitzu Master had blonde hair and it kind of skipped a generation. At least that's the explanation that I've came up with. I took genetics in high school, but I don't remember a lot of it, so I couldn't tell you if that's like a trait that skips or if it's like something else. I'm not familiar with that. All I know is that it just kind of skipped a generation. And also Wu was blonde too, so kind of fits in with that family. But yeah, Garmadon had brown hair, Misaka had brown hair, Lloyd has blonde hair. I feel like it's just because it skipped a generation. So, let's see. Master of the Mountain, yeah, we could roll with that for a little bit here. Do I have a favorite animal? I really enjoy cats. I got 3 cats running around the apartment. They're all super cute and I love them very much. So cats are probably my favorite animal. Not so much a dog person. Like dogs are alright. Like I've had dogs before, but I'd rather have cats. I feel like cats are the better choice for pet, if we're being honest. But now I have 3 kitties and they're all adorable. I love them very much. Um, do I believe that without the movie Ninjago would be completely different? Yeah, I feel like if the movie never came out, Ninjago would be very different. The redesigns probably would not have happened. The ninja probably would not look the same way that they do right now. Um, but yeah, just overall, I feel like if the movie had never come out for Ninjago, then the actual TV show would be different because the movie was a direct, I guess, influence on the show in that regard. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that it would be very different. Do I know how to draw? I mean, I like to draw. It doesn't mean I'm very good at it. I do what I can. I doodle sometimes. Like even on my notepad right now, I have doodles and stuff that I do like during live streams. If I go off on a tangent, I don't know. I would like to get better at drawing, but you know. Do I make money off of YouTube? Yeah, this is my full-time job, so I am technically making money off of this channel. It helps put food on the table and it helps keep me financially supported and it helps me because I get to talk about what I like. So it's kind of like a win-win there. I get to talk about what I like and I get paid for it. So yeah, it's a pretty good job. I might need to get a new job later on, but as of the moment, YouTube's treating me okay enough to the point where I can actually do this full time as a job. Yeah, 5 minutes left. Yeah, the stream goes by pretty quick. Yesterday's stream like flew by as well. Do I think Garmadon could turn good again? Maybe. I just feel like right now he's kind of like a neutral party. I feel like right now he would just go to, whoever would benefit him more. Like kind of like a Ronin style character, I'd say. Do I think I might make another Which Ninja is the most popular video? I could do that again. A couple people have been asking for a voting series or another one, and I really want to at some point. But I kind of want to get through the episode reviews first. For these live streams, so far we've done the pilots, all of season 1, and right now we're almost done with season 2. Got a few more episodes to do for that. Otherwise, then we got seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6 to get through yet. So it'll be wrapped up pretty quickly, I'd say. But after that, I could probably do a few more of the voting series because a lot of people really want that. Uh, do I or did I used to play sports? Not really. I was never really a sport person. I almost did track in high school. It's one of my biggest regrets is not doing track because I was asked to join the track team. I didn't want to, but that was probably my biggest regret from high school. Otherwise, I was really into hockey for a little bit there. Kind of want to get back into hockey. Um, I don't know, just overall, there are some sports that I enjoy. I like football to a certain extent, but it's not my favorite thing ever. My family is a pretty big football family, and I'm probably the least invested out of all of my family members. But I don't know, sports never really was my biggest thing. I was kind of always more into like writing and creating stuff, just kind of sitting back and with a pen in my hand, that kind of stuff. Which football? Kind of like American football, not soccer. My family is big on the Green Bay Packers, so that's kind of our thing. Just because we're from like the Wisconsin area. With 2 minutes left in the stream, let's turn it over to rapid fire questions. Anything that I can answer in just a quick sentence or two, just because the stream's almost done, and that's kind of what we get into as the stream kind of nears the conclusion. But yeah, my dad's a big Packer fan, and he kind of rubbed off on all the rest of us. So do I stream every day? Nope, only Monday through Friday. We'll get more into that at the end of the stream. Favorite color? I really like the color blue. Just any type of shade of blue is my favorite color. Is Lloyd going to be older in season 14? Probably not. He looks older in some pictures, but he's probably just going to be the same age. Am I going to do a stream of Day of the Departed? Yep, that's going to be the big finale for the episode review streams. Day of the Departed is going to be the last thing that we review. Season 5 or season 2 second half? Gotta go with season 2 second half. I feel like that's a lot better. Favorite Christmas song? That one Mariah Carey song that everyone overplays around Christmas time. That's probably my favorite. I'll put together my Christmas playlist later today. Maybe that'll help me get into the spirit of things. Uh, how was the Obama whip? I haven't heard it yet. I've seen it, but I haven't actually listened to it. I wonder if it's gonna be good. How old was I when I first started watching Ninjago? I had just turned 11, I think, when Ninjago came out. Sounds about right. Yeah, just turned 11. Because I'm 21 now, so about 10 years. Yeah, I had just turned 11. Um, who would the ghosts beat the Stone Army in a fight? Probably, probably honestly, yeah, I feel like they could. It would probably be very evenly matched. Will I stream on Christmas? Christmas, probably not. I can tell you that right off the bat. These streams will definitely go into Christmas and probably into the next year, but I will not be streaming on Christmas. I can tell you that much right off the bat because I will not be home for Christmas. I'll be going to my parents' cabin and spending Christmas there, so excited for that. Do I think Legacy will go up to season 13? Honestly, Legacy is probably just going to keep going until they catch up to the modern day. And there are still several sets that they kind of skipped over that they could go back and do again. So I feel like Legacy could go on for a very long time. Just kind of depends on what they want to do. But I feel like they might do season 13 sets at some point, maybe like 5, 6 years down the line. Who's my favorite side villain? Honestly, just right off the top of my head, I really like the mechanic. I'm very glad that he got more of a role in Prime Empire because the mechanic is actually a pretty good character. He's probably my favorite side villains. Have I put up a Christmas tree yet? No, I'm trying to find like a small Christmas tree that I could use for the apartment. Maybe that'll be a project that I work on as well. Try to get a small Christmas tree. The apartment's not very big, but I really do want a Christmas tree. What do I think about season 6? Season 6 is alright. Skybound, yeah, it's pretty good. How is Waffle? She's fine. Waffle's one of my cats. She is sleeping on the chair behind me. So she always kind of hangs out in this room whenever I do live streams. So, um, let's answer one more question before we conclude the stream for today. um, do you think we should do the hug thing again? Uh, I don't know. We've done that once already during the stream. Maybe we could start doing them towards the end of the streams a little bit more. But let's get one more solid question in. Maybe that's what we could do for the actual ending. But for one more question, yeah, we could talk about that. Do I think that Lloyd would become the Golden Ninja again in season 14? That theory was kind of put to rest because turns out that Golden Lloyd figure is actually part of Legacy, so I doubt that they're actually going to be introducing Golden Lloyd again. I really don't think that's going to be a thing. But yeah, we can do the hug thing really quick though to end off the stream. We can put some hugs in the chat while I talk about the information. With all that being said, that'll pretty much conclude it for the stream today. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. In terms of our information, we stream Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time, with an episode review and a Q&A. We'll update this day by day. If there's ever a day where I can't stream, I will let you guys know through my community tab. Yeah, this is a pretty good thing with all the hugs in the chat near the end. That works out because I can talk about the information and everyone gets a hug to send off the stream. Very good stuff. Today we reviewed episode 21 of Ninjago. On Monday, we will be talking about episode 22. We're not going to be streaming tomorrow or Sunday because that's the weekend, but there will be videos out over the weekend. There will be more videos today, so stay tuned for that. And in terms of the streams, thanks a lot for the hugs, guys. Thanks for the donations. Thank you for the questions, and thanks for hanging out. I will catch you guys on Monday with the next live stream, and I hope you guys have a very fantastic weekend. So thank you so much for watching this stream. My name is TannerFishies, and I will see you guys